What's up, Kyle?
What's going on, Scott? We
Got a big card this week.
Pretty big card, yep.
Yep.
Gonna have a new lightweight champ for the first time in a while.
Yep.
This week.
In Texas.
Yep.
Gotta love it.
In Texas with a card with fans. A card that has no big favorites at all.
Right.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yep. The biggest favorite I'm looking at is the first fight, Christos Giagos.
Yep.
Minus 220.
Minus 225.
Yeah.
Yep. And with that, we can just get right into it. Christos Giagos versus Sean Soriano is the first fight. Christos Giagos is the biggest favorite on the card. He beat Carlton Minus in his last fight. He has a loss against Drakkar Klose. He has a fight. He lost by submission to Charles Oliveira. But he has a lot of experience in the UFC, whereas Sean Soriano has none.
Right.
He's on a 3-fight winning streak against all cans. He was in the UFC 6 years ago, but that was 6 years ago.
Right.
Giagos should win this fight. He should be the bigger guy, more active guy. Like I said, he's got fights against Charles Oliveira, who's fighting for the title tonight.
Yeah.
This weekend. So, and Carlton Minus, he's not the best opponent, but he's UFC caliber. It's a decent win, better than any win Sean Soriano has. So. I do like Christos Giagos in the first fight, and I think he's a good parlay piece going forward. And I actually don't believe that they're not on DraftKings yet for DraftKings lineups. They have not been added to the player pool just yet. Kind of interesting. The next fight, we got Kevin Aguilar versus Tucker Lutz. Aguilar's on a 3-fight losing streak. He looked out of shape, and he looked like shit against Charles Rosa in his last fight. And I'm not big on Charles Rosa at all.
No.
But before the 3-fight losing streak, he did have wins over Enrique Barzola and Rick Glenn, who are two legit UFC fighters. So it's kind of the tale of two Aguilaras here.
We'll see who shows up on Saturday.
Right. Tucker Lutz. He has a massive winning streak against absolutely nobody. I knew none of the names. He's not a finisher. Most of his wins are by decision. It's kind of the tale of which Aguilar shows up. If the guy that beat Enrique Barzola and Rick Glenn shows up, then he gets this win. And at minus 103, I think that's the side I'm leaning. I probably won't bet this one. Do you have any thoughts on
this is smelling like a stay away fight to me.
Yeah, this fight card's pretty interesting because the top of it's pretty good, but as we get to the bottom of this fight card is real low level. Which usually means we'll see some finishes, but we'll see. We got Gina Mazzani versus Priscilla Cachoeira, a certain podcaster that I used to listen to used to call Priscilla Cachoeira catch a beating because she just used to get beat up. Gina Mazzani's kind of the same. She's been KO'd a few times. She looked good in her last fight against Rachel Ostovich. Rachel Ostovich might be one of the worst fighters to ever be in the UFC. So I'm not sure how impressive that is. But she did get 7 takedowns, which is something to look at. Priscilla Cachoeira, she had a big win in her last outing against Shayna Dobson. She won by KO, which you don't usually see as a women's fighter. But before that, she was beaten up badly by Valentina Shevchenko, Molly McCann, and Luana Carolina. So this is another interesting one because Gina has been knocked out, and Priscilla just won by knockout, so she could definitely catch her. But Mazzani is training under our boy I'm drawing a blank on it. James Krause.
James, yes.
He's
James,
their
the real
trainer
deal
now.
Krause.
Yep. So she'll have a wrestling heavy game plan, and I'll take the wrestler over a flash knockout in a women's MMA fight. So give me Gina there. Any other thoughts on this? I mean, these are pretty low level fights.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been able to find a ton more than what you've already covered on these guys on the early prelims because nobody fucking knows who they are.
Right. Gina Mazzani is decently hot, by the way.
Yeah, she's got a nice red dye job.
Yep.
Gotta love the fiery red dye job, girls.
Next fight is one I think that I have a pretty good read on and will be betting on. Jordan Wright versus Jamie Pickett. Jordan Wright was KO'd quick by Joaquin Buckley in his last fight. Before that, he had a really big winning streak against absolute nobodies. He's got a karate style, very hittable guy.
Right.
First time I saw him fight in the UFC, I said I want to fade this guy. And you know what? Jamie Pickett did not look great in his last fight. He fought Taffin, who just lost this week, but he showed some toughness, and I don't think Jordan Wright will get the finish. Jordan Wright actually has 100% finish rate. He either got finished or finished every one of his opponents. So I think Jamie Pickett gets a finish here. He's a big dude. He's tough, and he probably will have more output than Jordan Wright.
Jordan Wright, yeah, he's 11-1, but he's fought like karate white belts.
Right.
He fought like the kids in the fucking karate class.
His nickname is the Beverly Hills Ninja. Great nickname.
Yeah, it's a very soft 11-1. His coaches are not giving him anyone too tough.
Exactly.
Want to protect the old ego.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think he gets beat here.
Yeah, not a fan. He's somebody I'm always looking to fade.
Yeah, and at a pick'em, you got to go with Jordan Wright.
Yeah. Next fight, we have Groovy Lando Venata versus Mike Grundy. This is another one that I love. Lando Venata lost to Bobby Green in his last fight. After that, he decided he wants to drop down to 145, so this will be his first fight at 145. Another interesting thing about Lando Venata, people seem to think he's like this big KO artist. I was looking through his record. He has absolutely no good UFC wins. He has fought some tough guys, but none of his actual wins come against good competition. Mike Grundy, however, just lost to Movsar Evloev despite taking him down 6 times. And Evloev is someone I'm really high on.
Yes.
He's a beast. Something Grundy said that made me like him even more this week was he said he wants to chip away at Lando Venata's soul this weekend. Ooh. So I'm thinking he knows the game plan is wrestle heavy. I mean, he's not a striker. Lando Venata is a striker. Oh, yes. This is someone to target on DraftKings as well. And Mike Grundy looks like someone who you'd see on, like, Muscle Beach in Miami. That's what his body type is. Yeah. He's jacked. So I love Mike Grundy here. Mm-hmm. Gonna take him big.
Bigly.
Oh, yeah. So let's see. Where are we at right now?
Do we skip Antonina?
Oh, we sure did. Back down. Antonina Shevchenko, Andrea KGB Lee. This is another pick'em, of course. They're all pick'ems.
Yeah.
Shevchenko is not as good as her sister.
No. Fun fact, though, they both fucking lost to Roxy Modafferi.
I know. They both
lost
hilarious. To Roxy. Andrea Lee's on a good losing streak here.
Yeah.
It's tough. This is a tough
This is a
one to
kind of
pick.
shitty fight.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's not the best fight. Yeah, so Lee's on a 3-fight skid, but 2 of them are controversial split decisions, and then that one fight to Roxy, which she actually was dominating early, and then Roxy came on and won very clear. But Shevchenko, yeah, like you said, she also lost to Roxy, but looked really good in her last time out against somebody we like in Ariana Lipsky. The one problem I have, which I was up ready to take Shevchenko here in this spot. Everybody else I've heard is taking Lee. The one thing that scared me off and that makes this a stay away is I don't like how Shevchenko's been talking in interviews this week. She's been talking like she gets beat up by her sister in training. Like she's like, oh yeah, it's tough competing with her. like saying, and she's like, I hope I win this weekend. I'd love.
That's fucking loser talk.
Yeah, so it's enough to stay away, I think. Don't want to really touch this one.
She doesn't have the Valentina murder instinct.
No, she doesn't. All right, so jumping forward, we already went over Grandi versus Lando.
All right, so then we got Jacare.
Oh, yeah. Jacare versus Muniz. Andre Muniz. What do you think about this one?
If you put a gun to my head, I would probably take Jacare. He's a pretty good submission artist. I don't know a ton about Muniz, but I don't know how to pick him. I mean, this is essentially just a coin flip as well, I think. I don't know, man. Jacare looked pretty decent in his last couple of fights. Let's see.
He lost
3 in a row.
He lost 3 in a row, but one was against last one was against Kevin Holland, where he got knocked out from top position, which that never happens. He was looking good before that. He also lost to the current champ.
Lost to Blachowicz.
Yeah, which he won a couple rounds.
Yeah.
And he lost to Jack Hermanson.
He's been in a couple 5-round fights. Yep.
Compared to Muniz, who's beat Antonio Arroyo and Bartosz Fabinski. And Bartosz just gave the neck. I mean, Jesus, Bartosz.
Yeah.
I like Souza here. I think Souza's the better wrestler of the two. I think Andre Muniz thinks he's this next big thing in jiu-jitsu when he's fighting the Gator, Jacare. You're not going to submit Jacare. Guys who are going to beat Jacare have
the Gator.
Have huge power like Kevin Holland. I think this is a great matchup actually for Jacare Souza to get a win.
Yeah, I think he gets right here.
Probably by decision. I don't think.
Yeah.
Neither guy will probably submit either one. They're both great jiu-jitsu artists.
Hopefully, it is as interesting as Gregor's fight last week. These two guys just rolling around, a couple of Gators going at it.
Right. I doubt it. Doubt it gets there.
Yeah, probably not.
So what fight are we on next? Are we on Bontaran?
Barboza.
Oh, Barboza.
We're on the main card.
All right, we're starting the main card. Shane Burgos versus Barboza. So Burgos lost to Josh Emmett in his last fight. Josh Emmett's good fighter, not a bad loss. Barboza, what was his last fight? Offhand, I cannot remember.
I'm pulling it up. This is for. Let's go to Barboza. Oh, motherfucker.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure he lost.
All right. So last 4. So he's
Mac
1 in 3.
So he won in his last fight.
Amirkhani.
So he won his last fight. They both actually have wins against Amirkhani. Shane Burgos does it. And then he lost to Dan Ige.
3 in a row before that. Ige, Felder, and Gaethje.
Yes.
who are all
Dan Ige,
killers.
his first fight at 145. So I really am on Barbosa here as a slight dog. Opposite of Valentina, love what he's been saying this week. He's saying he still has a title run in him. He thinks he has all the tools it takes to be the title holder at 145. And I tend to trust him. I mean, he's got great takedown defense. He hits hard as shit. He's
got the nastiest leg kicks. Yeah, which leg kicks, as we've seen the last couple of fights, leg kicks are enough to fucking win.
Well, Barbosa said that in an interview this week. He said, I don't know why everyone's shocked about leg kicks. He said, I did that 10 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. He's been doing it for the last 10 years.
Yeah, right. So as a slight dog, I have him at plus 108. I really like him. Shane Burgos is dangerous, and he has good output. He's pretty big for the division. But a guy like Barbosa, I think he's next level. Barbosa is a guy that he only loses to the top.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure Shane Burgos is there just yet.
I like taking old Eddie here.
Yeah. Next
old
up,
man Eddie B.
Caitlin Chukagian versus Viviane Araujo. This is another fight that I don't know why it's on the main card. I never like watching Chukagian fights. She tries to stay on the outside. She does a lot of kias that judges seem to score as strikes. Doesn't do much damage. In her last fight, she did have a good fight against Cynthia Calvillo. I didn't think she would win that. Araujo, in her last fight, beat our girl Roxy. If I was to take somebody in this fight, I would take Araujo. Just because I think she might have the pressure edge against Chukagian, who likes to fight from distance.
Yeah, I mean, Chukagian is essentially just straight up boxer with small gloves.
Yep.
I think if Araujo takes her down a couple times, she's not gonna have an answer. This is someone who in women's MMA can still easily be beaten by armbar or rear naked choke.
And
so
shout
she's
out.
Chukagian. Go ahead.
Shout out to another podcast, MMA by the Numbers. I don't like his betting advice, but the dude puts in fucking work getting stats for you. And one stat that he shared was Caitlin Chukagian has wins where she's been outstruck. And that, I think, has to do with her kias and just looking like she's busy, but when she's really not.
Right.
So like you said, she could have more losses than she really shows.
Yeah. And she beats lower tier girls pretty easily. Like she's got her last 3 wins were all UDs against Calvillo, Antonina, and Maya. But then once she gets a stern test, folds.
Yeah.
KO TKO.
Yep. And Araujo seems aggressive. I like her. I probably won't bet this fight, though.
Yeah, there's plenty of other fights on the card. Not like last week.
Right.
Forced
there
to
are
take
plenty
every
of
single
fights.
one.
There are plenty of fights on this card. I don't know how quality they all are, but
right.
The next fight's
pretty. Have the quantity aspect down.
Right. The next fight is pretty good. Matt Danger Schnell versus Bontarine. Bontaриne's a little tank. He reminds me of John Lineker a little bit, except not nearly as good. He has he has two tough losses. He has 2 tough losses in the UFC to Ray Borg and Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France by KO. He's short and stocky, just like Lineker. He's strong.
5'5", listed at 5'5", so he's probably like 5'3.5".
Doesn't have much output. Kind of relies on that power, which he does have. Good submissions, decent wrestling. And he's fighting a guy in Matt Schnell who I'm pretty high on. His last fight, he said he was going to go out there and he was just going to touch Tyson Nam's forehead. That's what he said. He's going to just bounce his fists off Tyson Nam's forehead all day. And that's what he did. He stuck to the game plan, outboxed Tyson Nam, who also has big power. But Tyson Nam's a lot taller than a guy like Bontarine, and I think Matt Schnell with superior footwork and boxing will box up Bontarine for 3 rounds.
Punching down helps quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. For sure. So I like Schnell, Matt Danger Schnell in that fight.
I like the Danger.
Oh, yeah. And that
American
brings
Top
us,
Team is a great gym as well.
They are. That brings us to our co-main. Beneil Dariush versus Tony Ferguson. This is another hard fight to take.
Yeah.
Tony got destroyed in his last fight against Charles Oliveira. Looked terrible.
Yeah, I like Beneil in this one.
I do too. Whereas Beneil, that win actually looks better after this Gillespie fight because Beneil actually controlled Diego Ferreira a little bit on the ground, whereas Gregor could not.
Right.
Beneil is a guy, he's got big power, he's got wrestling, he's got good boxing. Where Tony Ferguson's boxing's not too crisp. He's kind of, he relies on his crazy style to get him crazy style and output and being able to take punches. And at his advanced age, I don't think his style is one that lasts.
Your chin wears out at 37. It's not not as good as when he was 26.
Yeah, I like Beneil here. If we see the old Tony, I mean, anything could happen, but
right.
I think
but we may end up seeing just old Tony.
Right, I know. Tony Ferguson's teetering on that Diego Sanchez line real quick.
Yep.
Like that crazy, the craziness is cool for a while until you're washed up. And it's like,
if you're crazy and finishing people, it's fine. They'll look.
It's like, Tony's training camp is nuts. Right. He's winning, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Now it's like, Tony, why are you fucking rolling around on a bed of nails? What the fuck's wrong with
you? Yeah, stop doing that, Tony.
Right.
You've got bad ankles. Right. You're fucking 38 years old. Your kids can see this, Tony.
And I tell you what, if Darius wins this fight, it's going to be hard to deny that guy a title fight. I know we have Connor versus Dustin in the future here, but Darius deserves that title fight.
Yeah.
And next we have the title fight itself, lightweight title, vacant. Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. Oliveira beat the shit out of Tony Ferguson in his last fight, and Michael Chandler knocked the fuck out of your boy. Why isn't it coming to me? Australian kid.
Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker in his last fight. Destroyed. I like Michael Chandler here. Charles Oliveira has a lot of wins. None of them against, well, it's hard to say none against top competition, but none against the best. And anytime Charles has gotten in trouble in the past, he's quit. Michael Chandler is not someone who's going to quit. He hits super hard, has great wrestling. I like what he's been saying in the lead up, that he knows Charles Oliveira is dangerous with submission, so he's been working on his wrestling. I think it's Chandler's time.
Yeah. I like Chandler as well. I definitely like him in DraftKings too.
Yeah. What's crazy is Charles Oliveira has looked so good in his wins that it does scare me a little bit. And he's so big. Charles Oliveira is huge for the division.
Yeah, that's true.
But we'll see. I think Chandler's going to take it probably by KO, honestly.
I would love to see that.
Like you were saying, DraftKings this week for UFC is a little interesting because, like we were saying, the betting lines are all close, and the DraftKings pricing usually goes by betting lines, but they didn't want to just do all 8K fighters, so they did their normal pricing, but it just does not follow the betting lines at all. So
really, I'm pulling it up right now. So
the top fighter is Gina Mazzani at 9,300. Oh, like I said, Christos Giagos is not in the player pool yet, so he might be a 9,500 guy.
Right.
But he's not in there yet. Gina Mazzani, 9,300, and plus 155 dog. Plus 155 dog is 6,900.
That is that's great, dude. We could make some sick lineups this week.
Exactly. You can make lineups with $4,000 hanging there, and have legitimate chance to win. I mean, Coach Cachoeira, if she's gonna win, she's probably gonna win by knockout. So at 6,900, she's someone to put in for some of these contests with 1 million people in them. We also then have KGB Lee, 7,000 against Antonina. She's plus 105.
As a plus 105.
Yeah. And
7,000.
Antonina Shevchenko is $9,200. It's crazy this week. Matt Schnell, 8,900.
Who would dare take Antonina Shevchenko for 9,200?
I don't know, and that's a great point because she's not going to score. Even if she wins, she probably won't score many points. Danger Snell, 8,900. I mean, that's closest to accurate. And then look at this. Yeah. Caitlin Chookagian. She's probably the worst. She's not going to score. She's going to get, in a win, she'll score you 50 points.
Yeah.
Charles Oliveira, huge favorite, 8,700.
Beneil Dariush is 8,600.
Yeah, that might be justified. Yeah. But like a guy that we love, Mike Grundy, who's going to score huge, 8,200.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so there's a lot of value here, especially Edson Barbosa, 7,800. Michael Chandler, 7,500. So you can really do a lot this week with DraftKings. I made one lineup. This is going to be a double up type lineup. I don't see it like I said, a double up lineup this week, cash lineup. I left $1,300 on the board. But I think this is going to be actually a pretty chalky lineup, but I don't see how it doesn't cash. It starts with most expensive, Beneil Dariush at 86, Jacare Souza, 85, Mike Grundy, 82, Jamie Pickett, 81, Edson Barbosa, 78, and Michael Chandler, 75. I mean, that is a great lineup, and usually with leaving 1,300, that'd be a great lineup to put in for a bigger contest, the 200K to first.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to be enough to differentiate yourself in a week like this. I think that's going to be, like, there might be 20 other guys that had that exact lineup.
Right. I just made one a couple minutes ago, and I only left 200 on there, but listen to the fucking guys I got. So I got Mike Grundy, Edson Barbosa, Michael Chandler, Jamie Pickett, Schnell, and I had so much left over. My last pick was Gina Mazzani at 9,300. I still have $200 left over.
So it's funny you say that. This Gina Mazzani is somebody I'm going to be heavy on this week in DraftKings because I don't think she'll be highly owned as the highest priced player this week because there is so much value that the top might get overlooked. So this might be the week to actually not leave as much money on the table and take somebody like a Gina Mazzani.
Yeah. And she wasn't even my first choice. I just had 9,500 left, and I was like, all right, well, I might as well take the minus 220 favorite in this one.
All right. Once Giagos is in the player pool, it'll change. Change some things where more people want to add him in as the biggest favorite on the card. But there should be a lot of finishes this week and a lot of spots here on DraftKings to exploit with how they priced it. This is a week where I'd love to have tons of lineups in there in the 200K because this could be a week where one single person wins it. I know last week I think the big 200K contest, I think like 15 people shared it. So
yeah, because there were only like 5 fights.
Right. Exactly.
Everyone had the same lineup. It's split up, up 2,000 ways. Everyone gets their money back.
Yeah. In other news, Anderson Silva retired officially today.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He is one of the greatest of all time, but not the last 4 years.
No.
He was.
He hasn't looked terrible. And he hasn't even looked terrible. A shell of Anderson Silva is still pretty good.
Still elite. But, I mean, he did look... You remember when he fought Daniel Cormier on 3 days' notice?
And he looked
pretty... He looked solid.
Yeah. Or when he knocked out Michael Bisping and then they decided that he didn't knock out Michael Bisping and then he ended up losing that fight.
Yeah.
Michael Bisping was out cold. That was one of the weird. We were on Anderson Silva in that fight too. That was one of the weirder losses we've ever had.
Yes.
Michael.
Well,
Bisping
we've had some weird
cold.
losses recently, but at that time it was one of the weirder ones.
Well, seeing Michael Bisping out cold in between rounds.
Right. And they waved some smelling salt in his nose. He's like, all right, no, he's fine.
No,
he's fine.
The bell rang. The round ended, so I went to sleep for a second.
I was just tired. Just resting my eyes.
Yeah, taking that daytime nap.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So my grandma used to. I was just resting my eyes.
Right. Michael Bisping's one good eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, all right, you want to do some bets?
Yeah. I made a couple.
Let's build some parlays.
Yep.
Well, all right. First, who are you taking for singles?
Singles. Mike Grundy.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely Mike Grundy. He's going to be probably the biggest single pick. I was thinking of putting like a lot of units on him. Okay. Well, that's fine. For the challenge, we are down to 160.
Okay.
So, do you think like throw 60 on him or like 100?
Let's throw 60 on him.
All right.
That way we could do a couple other bets.
Yeah.
For the challenge, though, maybe we shouldn't. But yeah, I love Mike Grundy. And I love Jamie Pickett. And honestly, I really like Ronaldo Souza too. What are they all parlayed together? Makes it plus 536.
Plus 5. Yep.
Yep, I like that. I put some on that. Then you can just go from there. Just start adding Edson Barbosa. Boom, that makes it 1223.
Oh, I'm looking at 1307 plus 1300.
Add Michael Chandler 2679. There's a 5 fight.
Michael Chandler and how about Benil Dariush?
Ooh, make
plus
it a
4560.
Like it.
We hit one 2 weeks ago.
There we go. There's our 6-teamer. Grundy, Souza, Pickett, Barbosa, Chandler, Dariush. Love it. Let's put 20 on it. Win 894. Put 10 on it. Still almost.
We're looking at a $20 bet to win 900.
Yeah.
I like that.
Good. pretty
that'll.
good.
I'll be a little less salty about Ludovic Klein's loss. We just instantly get our $900 back. $900 refund from Bovada.
Right. You add Danger Snell to that. That's $1,500 for a $20 bet.
Where's Danger Snell?
He's I got him at minus 159.
You want to throw Christos on there too? Make it really spicy.
Fuck it. But this is what we usually try to do. Yeah,
just do it. Just do it all in 1 week.
Right. And I will have all our bets on our website like we've been doing every week. Maybe we should start doing. I used to like when we had that parlay that would be like $10 to win $100K with the fight props.
Those
are the best.
This is a $10 8-teamer, full card, full send, 10 to win 1,078.
I like that.
I like that as well. $30 win, and if you hit this one, you hit the other one too. So $30 wins you about $2,000.
I like that a lot.
And then the single on old Mike Grundy will cover it if it loses. And then we have 70 more bucks. You want to do a couple like 2 and 3?
Yeah.
2 and 3 smackers?
Yeah. Let's do a maybe a Giagos. Giagos with, let's see, Benil.
Yeah.
I honestly like Jamie Pickett and Grundy more than I like that. And it's better odds.
We can do both.
Yeah. Jamie Pickett.
Actually, I don't know if we can do both. Let's do Pickett and Grundy.
Jamie Pickett and Grundy parlayed together is plus 235.
Yeah. And then just for lulls, I added another fucking 9-teamer. Added Gina Mazzani to the 8-teamer.
Okay.
Gets us another $500 for a $10. So it's $1,573.
Jeez.
Jeez Louise. We need another 10-teamer, another 6-teamer.
Yeah, we do. And I'll work on the props. I'm looking at the props right now. Some of them are pretty ridiculous.
All right.
Yep. And we'll post all that up. We're plus. I misspoke. It said we were plus 2.5 units last week. It was plus 2 units.
Should have been 10.
Should have been. But everything's posted, and we'll keep track of that every week. So we'll have a running count of our units up constantly.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Let's hit it. Later, bud.